What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is November 14th, 2014, 2024, November 14th, 2024. My apologies. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here. I'm also in sales and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why of getting into their occupation and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's coming on with me today. My man has been with WIS News 10 for the past year as a photographer. He was also a photojournalist as well, and he's been a photographer at another spot. His name is Ricco Holston. So we're going to talk to him about his why and get to know him a little bit. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring my man in. Ricco. Ricco, what's going on, baby? How we doing?
Doing great, man. How's it going with you? Thank
It's
you.
going good. It's going good, man. It's good to see you. No doubt about it. Welcome to the podcast. Work hard, play hard. I do appreciate it, man. Appreciate you being on here. Want to
Man,
ask you, how's your week been going so far?
Man, we've been going good, bro. It's been long. Had a couple of schedule changes to get some things done for our newscast. So I'm a photojournalist, so my schedule may vary. I may do 8 to 5, for a couple of weeks, and then in between it may have me, do night side on Fridays, which I'm what I'm doing right now for football. It's
Yep.
like 2 to 11. But then this morning I had like a 3:30 shift, to like 1.
Ooh.
Pretty much helping out with some Christmas festivities about to kick off. And then we had some breaking news happen. So yeah, it's been a long week. So I'm looking forward to the weekend, bro. How about you?
Uh, I wouldn't say as long as yours. You've been working hard, my man. No question about that. I'm somebody who works in sales, but I'm also a freelance. I'm a freelance journalist now. I used to be in it full time with a publication here. I used to cover high schools, 12 high schools and a college. So I was covering that for the past 2 years. Earlier this year, I made the decision to go freelance. So now I also cover professionals. So the last thing that I covered was actually, I would say, journalistic wise, about a couple weeks ago, because I went on a cruise a couple weeks ago for about a week with my family, and then I covered a Minnesota Lynx, that game three WNBA finals. So I got a chance to do that. I'm definitely going to be getting back into it with some wild games and also some basketball, some high school basketball that's going to be coming up. I'm going to get a chance to cover that as well a little bit. So yeah, man, not too bad, not too bad at all. I substitute teach as well. So yeah, absolutely. So I got definitely a lot of different hats I wear.
What were you reporting at as far as station wise before you went to be a freelancer? What were you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I first started my career off in Atlanta, Georgia. So what I was doing was working with different publications. So I was a sports journalist. So somewhere I was just covering games for two different publications. I was covering football, baseball, basketball, and lacrosse. So I was writing articles, writing feature stories, editing photos, taking photos, stuff like that. And I was doing that while I was in Atlanta in my undergrad, going to school. I graduated there, and I got my first full time job opportunity out here. And I moved out here in 22 in Minnesota, and I was doing the same thing, but I was just doing it now on a full time scale. So that's all I was doing. I covered 12 high schools then, and it was able to cover a college here as well because I'm still here at the same spot. Earlier this year, I was like, you know what? I was getting a little bit stale. I want to kind of switch up a little bit. I want to start doing some professional stuff. You can only cover so many high schools and so many state championships and section championships. At some point, you got to switch it up a little bit and do that. So I wanted to kind of try the freelance thing, and I wanted to see how that was. And I could tell you, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good for me, for sure. Just to be able to have control over different things that you want to cover. Also, I got the teaching bug, the itch to do that. So I wanted to go and get my master's, which I'll be getting my master's completed in May of 25. So I want to also pay it forward, give back to the kids that I cover, in high school, in college, and pay it forward like that, and continue on with my journalistic career. So I don't want to lose my craft, but at the same time, I want to open more doors.
Whoa, whoa, man. One word, whoa.
I feel it. I feel it, brother. I appreciate that.
From Atlanta? You from Atlanta?
No, I was born in Chicago, raised in San Diego, and then my mother moved us to Atlanta. So moved with my mom to Atlanta. That's where I went to Kennesaw State University and did that. And she's still there along with my aunt and uncle, and I got family up in upstate New York as well. So I'm definitely familiar with South Carolina, no question about that. Uh, Definitely familiar with that state.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for having me, man. I'm looking forward to this. I am.
No doubt, no doubt. As I always do, Rico, right? That's what it is, Rico.
Yep, you got it.
Okay, got you. Say less. My first question is the same, as it is with everybody that comes on my podcast. Is what is your why? Right? What is your why of doing what you do? Did you have any role models growing up? Did you have any inspirations that you want to kind of model your career after? But what is your why of wanting to get into the journalistic industry, journalism industry, I should say?
Okay, man. Well, thank you again for having me, man. And it's an honor to be on your podcast. I've never been on a podcast before, so hey, why not start with yours? So
Appreciate it.
I guess I'll just go back a little bit. I'm from Macon, Georgia. I was born and raised. My brother and my sister were all born in Macon, Georgia. My mom's from Alabama. My dad's from Georgia. And my stepfather, who was married to my mom, is from Macon as well. So to kind of fast forward a little bit, I actually kind of growing up, I didn't really have, I guess, like anybody I idolized really growing up, as far as like journalistic wise. But
Sure.
one person that stands out, I will say this, was Oprah. And the reason why Oprah stood out to me was one, she went to she graduated college. Oh no, sorry, she went to college. To my understanding, I believe it was Tennessee State.
Okay.
I don't know if she finished. I had to kind of research that. I don't want to quote it, but I know she went to college. And the thing is, she never finished. But it's not about her finishing. But I realized being in the role that she was in
Hmm.
not as a reporter, as an anchor, I believe, and she had her own talk show host. She became her
Okay.
own talk show host of the Oprah show. I started thinking about, it depends on like what path you take because everybody path is different. You know what I mean?
Right.
Her,
Right.
wow, like she started like as in the journalistic world, and then now she has her own network. Working with also with Tyler Perry. So to be honest, that was somewhat my first role model. But did I see myself going into journalism? No, I did not. I actually graduated from Howard High School in Macon, Georgia, and I ended up pursuing a degree in communications
Okay.
at Emmanuel University, which was Emmanuel College, but now Emmanuel University. So took a bachelor's degree in communications, which was really digital media production. And the reason why I chose that was because growing up in the church, I always worked cameras. Okay,
Okay.
I
Okay. Mhm.
think I will get more involved in music because I was involved in orchestra and some choir and you know what I mean. And
Absolutely.
my
Oh
mom
yeah.
that is involved in some type of fine arts. So, but I decided to stick with cameras because I thought that was like the coolest thing, and it still is one of the coolest things, for me. And so I didn't think to go into journalism with it. So once I finished my bachelor's degree in communications, um, prior to that, I had done an internship at a small local TV station called W
Okay.
in Macon. And once I completed my hours and turned them into, my advisor, in college to prove that I had completed a certain amount of hours for my internship, I graduated the year after, and afterwards I went home. So of course I really wasn't thinking right away like, oh, I guess I'll just go back to the station and see if I can maybe get a job. Because in my head I wasn't about what's the purpose of an internship. But if I was
Right.
probably a little more smart then, I probably would have probably took advantage of some other places maybe. You may be going off, going away from home a little while. Maybe here in South Carolina, probably. Maybe North
Sure.
Carolina. Who knows?
Sure.
But
Sure.
But at the time, my mom, and I always say this, and it sounds redundant, my mom's idea was for me to really get into news, really.
Mhm.
But you would think it would have been mine after doing an internship, going out with reporters, editing,
Sure.
package it,
Absolutely.
getting
Yeah.
B-roll, like breaking news and, helping out with football. But that just didn't click in my head, man. So I went back to WMGT. They offered me a part-time job as a production assistant. And there's when I had opportunity to go out with reporters and had a chance to work with producers and pretty much, the station I worked at, you didn't have a choice but to work hard. That's why I like your podcast, work hard, play hard. It,
Absolutely.
it was such a small station that I mean, I literally will be a part of a skeleton crew. I'll
Mm.
work audio one night, and that same night we may not have a camera guy. You have to run back into the studio, change the camera shots, and hop back on the, audio board just to
Right.
open the,
Right.
the news anchors mics, for them to start talking when we come back from commercial break and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So being at a small station like that taught me, the hustle. You know what I mean? You got to get things done. How you can get them done, maybe not perfectly, but you can get them done. And so I became passionate about it, and I was like, man, this is just pretty cool, pretty dope. Part-time job wasn't full-time,
Mhm.
and after about a year and a couple of months, Chris, I ended up thinking about going to graduate school. So I said, why not? And I was looking at some different places, and I did not get accepted everywhere. But the one place I did get accepted to was Regent University in Virginia Beach, and
Okay.
they have a journalism program. Took about a year to complete, including like the summer in between. So I wasn't gonna be there like another 3 or 4 years, like some people, may choose.
With you on that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I was
I ain't with that.
so I was like, hey, if I can do this in a year, I guess I'll just go ahead and add it to my resume because, a lot of times, we put things on halt and we say, well, we'll go and do it later. And for some reason, education was just something I wanted to do later. I just wanted to do it right then, as soon as
Mm.
possible. So I went to Virginia Beach for a year, which was really awesome. And then I picked up some freelance work working for Trinity Broadcast Network, a Christian network up there. And I believe it's one of the networks that's owned by I believe Pat Robertson. He passed away a couple years ago, I believe now. But his
Mm.
son,
Okay.
I believe, has taken over Christian Broadcast Network. But at the time, as a student, I was looking for work. So not only was I working as a janitor on campus, I picked up some freelance work working operating cameras. So I
I
mean,
love that. Respect that.
and so they just will maybe write me a check, like in the mail or send me a check when, they have had everything approved for me to say, hey, thank you for coming in and getting these hours, working audio or cameras or whatever I was doing. And I just
Right.
used that to my advantage. But also I did some freelance work like you was talking about, took pictures, maybe some video, especially like of weddings, people getting married, and so I went back home after I graduated from graduate school. Came on, I couldn't find a job. So I kind of just, picked what I could, some call center jobs, a couple of them, maybe delivery jobs along the way. And
Sure.
eventually, I got an opportunity to work for WGXA, which is another station of the three stations in Macon at the time. And I came on as a part-time photographer. So
Okay.
they replaced the production assistant job with the photographer because a guy left. They thought, hey, if you could be a photographer, just know you could just have to take it part time. I took what I can get, and there's when I started getting more familiar with like actual live shots with like the camera. So my first station, I didn't really do live shots like that, but
Okay.
my second station, I was able to actually get out and do like I won't say live reporting because I'm not really a reporter,
Mhm.
but I had a chance to engage in live stuff, like live breaking news, live Cherry Blossom Festival events, live storm coverage. So, and then on top of that, doing things like traffic cam for people to see what's going on the roadways throughout the day during rush
Mhm.
hour. So just taking a van and using
I
the
love
GoPro
that.
Um, and and also just getting a chance to just interact more with reporter stories, pretty much. And so I was part time there about 8 months, and being at home with my mom and my stepdad, my brother, and my sister, I was like, hey, I think it's time for me to go, move on and get my own place. So then I traveled down to Tallahassee, where I was about 3.5 years, almost four. And there I took a job as an overnight editor. And so
Mm.
from there, I edited maybe like from 12 to 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, which is a really rough shift, man. Like I would never tell anybody just to do over.
No question, brother. I've been there. No doubt.
Yeah, man,
No doubt.
it's something else. Like, but I took it because it was the first full-time opportunity I could get and I could find
Cool.
at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so with that going down there, I had a chance to get familiar with Eddie is and editing softwares that were different from my last station, which was Avid Composer, and in my first station it was Adobe Premiere. So I had a chance to at least learn different softwares along the way, so I wouldn't just be stuck just to one in case anybody ever hired me. It would be the less they would have to train me on. So I use that to my advantage. So all that to say is, I went to Tallahassee almost 3.5 years. Really loved it there, bro. Covered a few couple tropical storms. The hurricanes weren't as bad as they've been, have been happening lately, but I have
Sure.
covered storms, and yeah, now that's where I had a chance to cover more football. You know what I mean? Cover like 2 games a night, and then fast forward from there, I moved to Chattanooga, which I was there for about maybe almost a year and a little more over a year. And that was a little bigger market than where I was working at. But we covered North Georgia, South Tennessee, a little bit of Alabama, and a little bit of North Carolina. Uh,
Okay.
and I had to cover my first UGA game. That was cool. They played Tennessee.
Oh,
So
that's big time right there. Big
yeah,
time.
yeah. And being from Georgia, I had never been to a Georgia game. So I mean, why not be
Wow.
the first one that I actually get a chance to work it?
Mm.
It's just a long drive. I don't think it's just a long drive, 3.5 hours from where we were. But I had to do something like that, which I would have never done if I had not gone there, probably. And so fast forward to now, I'm in Columbia, and I took a chance to add more to my resume to here at WIS. Currently is where I work, but where I worked previously was WRCB Local 3. Before there was WLTX, and then the other 2 stations I mentioned before. So being here, not only do I get to interact with some reporters and live shots and other big stories, had a chance to cover the Gamecocks women's basketball team parade after they won a national championship. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, man, covered President Joe Biden at the Emmanuel 9 anniversary back in February of this year. Um,
Okay.
had never been in the same room as the president before. Vice President Harris came to visit to speak at South Carolina State because of the election that was coming up. She was campaigning. So I
Okay.
had to just do some pretty good stuff, man. So I would say to answer all that to sum up your question, why, sometimes you just have to do what's best for you and in the moment and kind of reach out to something and grab something that's right there in front of you, because not everything is easily adaptable, all the time to adjust to. Or as far as like as far as where you want to be in life, you got to just take what you can get. And so knowing what I had already achieved somewhat media wise in school, and from the first job I had in media to now, just trying to play it all in my favor, if that makes sense, with as much experience as possible,
Absolutely.
just to show what I'm made of. But sometimes, unless somebody's looking out for you, like at the time, like my mom, she knew, what would have been best for me to start off at. So that's my why, bro. My why is trying to pay attention to the green flags when I see them. Like, Rico, this is where you just need to go and step out on faith and just see like where it's going to take you down the road, whether it's a career, whether it's a job, whether it's to help you become like a motivational speaker, as far as how you go from point A to point B. I had to
Hmm.
start somewhere, so that would be my why, I would say.
I love it. That's a great start to this podcast, baby. It really is. That's a great start. Listen, everybody has a story to tell, right? We work in journalism, and that's the reason why I kind of do this podcast, because I love to hear different things of what you said. You really got it out the mud, my man. I mean, just being able to move around and get the gain experience from the various places that you went to get your undergrad degree, to get your master's degree, and still do what you do passionately is admirable. There's no question about it. But nobody would know that story if nobody sat down and talked to Ricco, right? So that's why this is important for people to kind of understand that people come from different all kind of backgrounds, and it's just wonderful to hear, and it's inspiring to hear. It's like it's really cool to hear that first part, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it, man, for real. Let me get to some favorite questions. I want to ask you some favorite questions, and you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon these favorite questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, man.
All right, here we go. What's favorite meal to cook? What's your favorite meal to cook?
Oh man. Favorite meal, man. I'm a big steak guy. I love steak. But I'm a big burger guy too, man. So gotta cook me
Mm,
some good ground beef, you know what I'm saying? Like when I have a chance to a chance to cook me up some good burgers. I'm a big salad person, man. I love salads. Like any type of salad. I mean, you name it. Chicken salad, like turkey, anything about a chef salad, put it like that. Because I grew up
okay.
eating a lot of salad.
Okay.
She always try to put like peppers and cheese and ground, just anything that involves good health, you know what I mean? So
Sure.
rice and gravy and some good salads, man. That's what I would like to do. Usually when I have some downtime, especially like on a Sunday, when I can sit down and enjoy it. Yeah, that's most probably my cup of tea, I would say.
I feel you on that. I'm a huge taco person. I love Italian and Mexican food, so tacos is definitely something you can whip that up pretty quick.
Yeah,
Obviously, me being a sports journalist, we worked a lot of nights and weekends. So when you getting off at 11:30 at night, almost 12 sometimes, you ain't trying to cook a full blown meal. You're just trying to get something to your belly. So definitely tacos is something a little quick that I would like to do for sure. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I like the salads though. I like the salads. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
favorite concert, man. You know what? Like, there weren't a lot of concerts I've attended, but I would say like well, I've attended a couple. When I was little, my mom, we're big into like Kurt Franklin, and big
Fred
into
Hammond? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fred.
Yes.
Man, uh, I'm from Macon, Georgia, so we're known to have big names like Little Richard. You know what I mean? Like very old school. We saw him in concert when I was very little. My mom took me, and yeah, man, I've seen him in concert. I've seen B.O.B. Atlanta
Yep.
rapper. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I went to
Absolutely.
Universal Studios with my track team in college, and he was one of the guys that was performing. So I would say, man, as far as like favorite concert, um, again, I'm a big, I love Kurt Franklin. That's like the one that kind of stands out to me. I've seen Mary Mary, like I said, Little Richard,
Absolutely.
Joby, um, and then I've listened to Lecrae, which that just came up to me, man. Lecrae, huge gospel rapper. I saw him
Yep.
in Bill while I was at Emmanuel College back in 2014, and he's somebody I listen to all the time. His music is just dope. He's just genuine. He's just real. He's authentic. I love the faith that he has and the faith that he believes in. And so I would say that one probably was the highlight. It was called Winter Jam. So
Mm-hmm.
there were other
Yep.
artists that came along with him, and usually when you're introducing when you're getting ready to bring out the main artist, you have other artists that are there to kind of lead up to the main one that's going to perform. Um,
Absolutely.
so I would say honestly, 2014. Now that you asked me the question, Lecrae at Winter Jam a few years ago. So that was pretty dope, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a chance to work security for a Passion. If you're familiar with that, they do Passion every year in Atlanta, Georgia, where they
Yeah.
bring everybody. And he came, Andy Mineo came, KB came, and you know those artists pretty well as you shaking your head. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And also Hillsong United. They came, Mary Mary, Shackles on My Feet. I mean, who don't like some Mary Mary? You know what I mean? So,
Right.
no
That's
doubt, no doubt.
I haven't attended a passion yet, but one of these days I am because I've heard so much about it.
Mhm.
How powerful it is, how great the atmosphere is with all these different, like I said, different artists that you hear on a regular basis, but you get a chance to see them like up close, or you get a chance to hear someone speak up close. You know what I mean? That could
Absolutely.
life into you. So passion is awesome. So that's great that you had a chance to do it, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. It was they were in a building that we normally do security. While I was in Atlanta, Georgia, going to school, I was doing event security. They needed us on there. They had Passion in two different venues. One was where now they call it the State Farm Arena, but that was at Phillips Arena at that time. And then they had another one over at the Gwinnett Center. So they kind of broke it down to have it in both places. Now they just moved Passion to the Mercedes Dome where the Falcons play. They used
Okay,
to have it in two spots, but now they've moved it over to the football stadium because the capacity was just too much.
that's right.
So it's a lot of people that go there. So yeah, absolutely. If you get a chance to do it, man, definitely do it. It is an all-breaking experience. A lot of great musicians, but also a lot of great speakers that
Yeah,
come there too.
awesome, man. That's what's up, bro. Absolutely,
No
absolutely.
doubt. Favorite place, Rico, you've ever traveled to?
Oh man, I love. So the last couple of years, I've been putting on my bucket list to travel. So I love that question, man. You know what, man? I still have places that I still want to go that I have not been yet. But to start things off, man, because I would say, well, you know what I mean. I've been to as far as the biggest city that I've been to so far. The first city was Los Angeles. I went there 2 years ago to visit my cousin on my dad's side actually, and he showed me around. And I see Los Angeles all the time in movies and shows.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely. You're
I
talking
can.
about my hometown state now, so I'm
Oh,
very familiar with Los Angeles.
that's your hometown state, you said?
Yeah, because I grew up in San Diego, so I grew up in San Diego. So I was Los Angeles was 2 hours away.
Okay, okay, that makes okay, awesome. Yeah, man. And yeah, so I've been to Niagara Falls in Buffalo, New York.
Yep,
Uh,
me too. Yep.
um, across the border over the Rainbow Bridge into Canada. I actually just went to Montreal, Canada back in April. Had never really used my passport before, so I wanted to try to go somewhere that many people in my family don't really desire to really do. You know what I mean? So I've been to Montreal, Canada. I've been to New York City. I've been to Washington D.C. Myrtle Beach, it's not far from here. Charleston, um,
Yep.
Charlotte, Daytona Beach. I've been to Jacksonville. I've been to Tyler. I live in Tallahassee. Definitely been to Nashville. So I would say so far, man, as far as my favorite place,
Yeah.
uh, I would say just because coming from where I come from, everybody don't want a passport, and when you have one, you might be able to travel at least over the border somewhere that somebody may not ever want to desire really to do. So for me,
Mhm.
it was Montreal because being from a little small city in Macon, some people, I'm a homebody, so being from a little small city, not really from a big city, like some people get very comfortable just staying in the little community that they're.
Sure.
But when I'm, traveling to places like Montreal, I get like the experience of people speaking like a language is different than mine. You see the culture is a little is different. You know what I mean? So I would say,
Absolutely. Yes.
you know what I mean? Like it's just, you got to get out there. I wouldn't say go somewhere crazy, but you got to get out there. Just know like there are other places to see. So I would say Montreal, Canada, at this point is probably my favorite.
I love it. That's definitely on my bucket list. I too got a passport. I got a passport this year because, like I said, I just went on a cruise with my dad's side of the family. We actually went to Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Bahamas, Cozumel, Mexico. My favorite now is the Cayman Islands. It was Cabo San Lucas, but the Cayman Islands took it over. I mean,
Really?
seen water that blue in my life. It was
Wow.
amazing.
Wow.
Um,
It's like
it
a
was quite the experience, Rico. It really was. That cruise was, and I'm definitely gonna go on another one in 2025. I'm planning for it now, but I'm definitely gonna travel a little bit more. I just want to be able to travel to some other places, see cultures, man. Because I mean, listen, we got a passport; they don't expire for another 10 years to renew. So, man, I'm trying to go as many places as I possibly can,
right.
as work will permit me to do, for sure. So, but yeah, definitely another cruise in 2025 for sure.
Awesome, man. I haven't tried a cruise yet. I haven't tried a cruise yet, but like I heard the food is really good.
Oh, it was good. Yeah, it was smashing. Now it was good. Now, no question. My plate was always white. I can tell you that right now. That's for sure. No question.
Oh, man.
This sports is a sports question I got for you. I'm a sports person. So, favorite sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person? They could be the same sport.
NASCAR. I'm a
Wow.
NASCAR.
Okay.
I grew up watching NASCAR, and I remember watching my first race. I believe it was 2005, or I think it might have been 2000, probably 2001. But I think distinctly I can remember 2005 because it was a guy that won a race that had never won before. His name was Ward Burton, and he has a brother named Jeff Burton who does
Yep.
Peyton for all the NASCAR races. So, but yeah, and then honestly, track and field. My grandmother, on my dad's side, Isabel Daniels Holston, was an Olympian, and uh,
Okay.
she was in the Olympics many years ago, and she won a bronze medal. With I believe at the time it was the with her one of her greatest friends, Wilma Rudolph, and
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, man. So she went to Tennessee State University. That's what she graduated from. She was recruited to go there. And once she ended her Olympic career, she was a basketball coach, track coach. She coached Gail Devers. But I brought that up because I did run a little track. I wasn't like her, obviously. You know what I mean? But thank God, when I went to Emmanuel College after just, kind of running a little bit of track in high school, I started in middle school, but it's middle school. But in high school, it's more competitive, and I didn't really get the opportunity to really compete. But I went to a college where they allowed me to walk on at some point, and the coach was like, "Hey, you work hard. I can help you with some scholarship money and help you get through school." And he promised me that, and he did give me something. So I walked on as a sprinter, wanting to be a sprinter, even though I wasn't. And knowing I was part of that sport, track and field is something that my mom and us we all love to watch track and field. But my favorite, man, it's got to be NASCAR. And
Okay.
I mean, if I had to go in person, like I have maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the Charlotte Roval in Charlotte.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've been to Talladega. I've been to the Daytona 500.
Hmm.
I've been to Richmond. I've been to Bristol, Tennessee, and I've been to there's another couple other races I've probably been, but NASCAR is my favorite, man. I just tell people NASCAR has always been my favorite. It's just amazing to see how many these guys can get in a car and it flips over several times and you get right back in. They're like daredevils to me. I mean, so you was asking me earlier, do I have any heroes growing up? I really didn't have any like heroes, but I always saw these people as like Superman, because I mean it's a dangerous sport, but you take
It is.
on 200 miles an hour every single week, hoping that you come, home and still be able to spend time with your family. It's just a very entertaining sport, bro. So NASCAR and then track and field, and I love football, for sure, but it's just something unique about that sport in particular. I just love.
I love it. I love that. That's awesome. Shout out to your mom, by the way. Shout out to your grandma on your dad's side. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Your mom sounds amazing, no question about that. And obviously, your grandmother was amazing too, being an Olympian next to Wilma Rudolph. I mean, that's one of our legends, if you understand
yeah,
what I'm saying. So, no question about that. I'm I was a huge NASCAR fan. A lot of my favorites have kind of stepped away. My favorite actually did, which was Jeff Gordon. He was my favorite driver. So I love me some Jeff Gordon. And my other one was Dale Earnhardt Sr. So I love Dale Earnhardt Sr. Tragic how he passed away on the track. So no question about that. But I love I love NASCAR events because they're loud and they're competitive. I've been to the Brickyard. That was probably the only event I've been to, and the Brickyard normally is in Illinois, in Chicago. My goal is to go to Daytona 500 because I want to go to their Super Bowl. That's what their Super Bowl is. It's the biggest
That's right.
race of the season. So I would love to go to that race at some point. So that's also on the bucket list for sure. Last
That's
but not least, on the favorites, I'm going to ask you favorite restaurant that you like to eat at. Now, Columbia got some good barbecue stuff. They got some
oh
good barbecue down there.
oh man, it's a lot of good everything. I mean, it's the South, man. You can't beat the South, like, you know.
Whew, boy, you right because up here it ain't it. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm
Good
gonna tell you right now.
Minnesota, right? Right.
Yes, Minnesota.
Okay, okay. So yeah, man. So far my favorite restaurant, bro. Uh, I'll be honest, I'm a big Golden Corral dude, but I haven't been in a while because I learned my lesson about having too many plates and how you can pay for it later. You know that. Uh, so, but honestly, man, I like little small town. I like little small restaurants. Like this, there's a place called Groucho's, and there's
Ouch.
two of them here.
Okay.
And they have good sandwiches that I heard. I haven't had the sandwiches, but their salads are so amazing, man. They have like a little small green salad, but you can get full off of it, man. Groucho's is great. I'm definitely another place called Andy's is pretty good. Uh,
Okay.
Honestly, I like to try different places. To be honest with you, bro. I do. I'm not a big. I like Asian food. I definitely like Asian food for sure. I love fish. Definitely love fish. So it really varies. Depends on like what my taste buds crave. Like, cause but I'm definitely into. I love fish. Definitely love fish, and I love chicken. I know I said steak earlier, but I love some good chicken. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Um,
Who don't?
so yeah, I guess it varies. I don't really have a favorite, but I love pizza. I love pizza. So a nice pizza spot, like a nice Chicago pizza or New York style pizza, I can dig that. If I come across a restaurant like that. So it really varies. I'm a big foodie, man. I love to try
Okay.
stuff and stuff that I enjoy. I usually get full off of it and say, hey man, let me see what else is out here too. So it kind of varies, bro.
Feel it. I feel it, man. Listen, I mean, obviously, I've been to the Gamecocks games of football. When I was down there in Atlanta, we used to drive. We used to do security for not only Clemson in South Carolina, but also South Carolina as well. The University of that. So I believe it's Bryce.
Right,
Uh,
Stadium?
yes, Bryce Stadium. We definitely did a couple football games and also a concert. They hold concerts there too.
Yeah.
That we did security for as well. So next time I'm down there in Columbia, I'll definitely hit you up, Rico. No
Yeah,
question.
man. That's bad. I'm going to my news station gave me a couple of tickets. One of my friends we're gonna be going this Saturday from to see Gamecocks take on Missouri Tigers. Um
Okay.
the draw.
Have fun on that one, baby. Have fun.
Yeah, man. So I'll be there on Saturday, and those tickets not cheap. So
No, you're
you're
not.
gonna
Enjoy yourself. It's well deserved. You worked very hard, I'm sure, and I'm glad they're giving you a day off to be able to just go relax and watch the game. Should be a good one too between
should
those teams.
yes, exactly, absolutely, man.
No question. Okay. Let's talk about your day to day. We kind of brushed up on it a little bit in the beginning because you talked about how your schedule varies from day to day. We know as journalists, we are doing something different every day. We're covering something different, whether it's a editorial to write, a game to cover, whether it's photos to take of an event, whether it's presidential or sport like news, whatever genre it is. Our schedule just changes. It varies every single day. That's one of the reasons why we love our job because it's not redundant. It's not over and over again and doing the same thing, right? So talk to me about getting your day started. What is it like when you have to go into the station? Um, what kind of process do you go through to get ready to start your day?
Yeah, man. So first thing I've made a habit in doing is I start off with prayer, bro. I got to start off with prayer. Um,
Yeah.
it's and that I answer you in that way because my company that I work for, I recently had like a regional training event in Charleston, and basically a few stations under our company they may put together a few photographers and reporters, and they'll just pretty much have like a training session on how they can help you get better at your craft, your skills, what you can learn
Right.
as far as like your previous work. And there was a guy that was training us, and one of the things I was asking him about, as far as how to deal with managers that don't agree with what you're trying to,
Sure.
do, or you're trying to get along with everybody as far as being on the same page, and it
Hmm.
causes a lot of, chaos in the process of wanting to be safe, when you go out and get stories and knowing that, they're not in your position, you're in your position, and you want everything be okay. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah, run smooth. Absolutely.
yeah, man. And one of the things I asked him, like, how do you deal with the troubles when it comes to that, the difficulties, the challenges,
Sure.
to understand where you're coming from, so they're not just rolling all over you. You know what I mean? Just to to not hear you out when your side should matter at some point. And
Absolutely.
first thing he does is he starts off with prayer. He starts off with prayer. So I make sure I pray. Uh, Also, once obviously I've done that. I try to get in early, or at least I try to get in right in on at 8 right now because on paper it's like 8 to 5. So I want to
Hmm.
make sure I'm there, and I make sure I got my equipment. We're all assigned different gear. Now, some stations you may not be assigned gear, and you may have to share. But thankfully, right now, I'm having to use my own stuff, which is good. So I'll make sure I have my mics charged up, make sure my camera batteries charged up, making sure,
Right.
that I have everything I need, maybe rain gear. Like today, had no idea it was going to rain all day. I had my rain gear because we have a couple
Right.
of cameras that is in the shop right now because of the hurricane recently we had that messed them all up. So
Absolutely.
I have that covered up, or there's no story. Um, and then I'm kind of just, at my desk, I may try to sit for a while, just make sure that my assignment editor has me going out at some point, where she can see me, where she can communicate with me. Because if something happens right at 8, sometimes I may just leave from my house, man. I may just have a station car leave from my house. So I don't have to go all the way back to the station. Or I may just sneak into the editorial meeting and see if there's somebody they're already gonna set me up with, like another reporter, you know what I mean, or another assignment that's gonna be different from everybody else's. But honestly, another thing I try to do, honestly, before that even starts, man, I try to speak to some people. There's one guy that does security. You mentioned security. He does security for us all the time. And honestly, to be honest with you, Chris, like I'll go down there, I'll just start talking to him, ask him how his day is going. We talk about,
Absolutely.
sometimes it's good just to make conversations because you may not always be around the best people professionally just to have a sit down like we're doing. And that usually kind of helps me get my day started. Now, some days I may just go in, just, mind my own business, but I try to allow myself to be respectful enough to tell people good morning, see
Sure.
how somebody's doing, when I can. And then usually when I'm done with, fellowshipping in that way, I head out to my story. Sometimes it may be a both side. Sometimes it may be helping somebody with a reporter's package. Sometimes it may be a Nats package of the Veterans Parade that I'd help cover it on Monday. They
Hmm.
want to have something for our newscast, about a minute and 30 of it or a minute and 45. And then
Right.
yesterday, I helped out with the food bank. Our news anchor talents, they were volunteering at Harvest of Hope, so they were getting a chance to see behind the scenes of how they're packing up food for those who come and get it, and for those who are in need, the type of items they're going to be given, for the Thanksgiving holidays.
Absolutely.
We had a chance to partner up with some volunteers, those who've been doing it for a while, those who've been volunteers for so long. Now they're employees there. You know what I mean? Like, So it may be community events, or it could be something like the fair we just had that wrapped up maybe 2 weeks ago, and we had a sign up sheet. We volunteered to sit out there at the tent, welcome people to our tent. Hey, we're WIS News 10. We have a couple of souvenirs to give you all, and just want to let you know, hey, we're out here just to interact with you because you may not see us every day. So it really, and then it may be another situation where I'm getting ready for a storm. You know what I mean? Or on Friday, which is tomorrow, I'll be going in a little later to help cover high school football. So
Okay.
so
Okay.
my schedule varies. So I kind of just make myself when I make myself available to get ready for whatever I need to be prepared for, but definitely have to make sure my gear is good because if my gear is not great, I can't get my day started the way I need to because that's one delay right there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
Sure.
yeah, man, try to make sure my vehicle's in good shape. Make sure there's nothing like wrong with it. Make sure I'm gassed up if I gotta go out an hour and a half or something. So I just try to, you know, check mark sometimes up here, like what is that I need to just be prepared for, or I'll just try to over communicate with other people. Hey, where am I needed the most? Where am I needed the least? Where I'm needed the most, let me focus on that. Where I'm not needed as much, let's double back to get this done later if y'all need it.
Absolutely. No, I love that. I really do. And it's a great segue, Rico, because I want to talk about mental health and work-life balance, right? And you kind of touched up on it, in this industry, and I'm sure you've known colleagues as well, but I've known a few colleagues that have stepped away from this industry because of mental health and work-life balance, right? It just didn't match up with it. I'm sure you've had a couple colleagues or people that you've known that have kind of stepped away as well. Sometimes you're going to be running into difficult stories, sometimes difficult people. Sometimes you're going to be put in difficult positions because that's just the nature of occupations. We always gonna run into somebody that it's just gonna be that one. We always know, or two. But I want you to tell me, how do you keep your mental health strong, being in this industry, and also have that work-life balance? Right? You seem like a cool dude. I certainly wouldn't mind hanging out with you, brother. You seem like a really cool dude and down to earth, no doubt. But you also seem about your business as well, working hard and playing hard, like I like to do. So tell me, how do you keep your mental health strong and also have that work-life balance?
That's a good question, bro. So for me, I definitely love to work out. I've been taking, I guess, working out a lot. Well, I would say it's been for a while now, but I love to run. I definitely love to run, man. I've seen it posted a lot, on my social media pages a lot. Running has helped me, and just getting out has helped me. Period. Just going for a walk. You know, but honestly, finding that safe place you can talk. You know what I mean? Like, because I was mentioning about the guy at work. He's a security guy, and he does security for our station. And sometimes that helps me just allowing myself to interact with people that I know I can be in agreement with a lot of things, not just what I'm struggling with, but the sense of who I can have like a genuine conversation with. Because a lot of things that go on, like gossip and what I mean, people talking about people and all kind of stuff. I may just want to have a conversation about, okay, how can we just, you know, have a conversation about what's going on in life without having to get into other people's business all the time. So I may just say, hey,
Absolutely.
let's just, let me just see how your day is going. Let's just talk about what's going on in life. So that way when we get into that atmosphere, you know what I mean, of people who don't know how to control their anger, their temperament, you know what I mean, or their mannerism, I would have already allowed myself to have a genuine conversation with people just to, just about life, man. So I'm allowing myself to be mature enough, to know, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. So I know, even though we talk about certain things, I could probably double back and talk to you about it. So I don't have to
Yep.
go off. I don't have to snap.
Yep.
But I run a lot, man. I also run a lot. I've been running for a while, and what I enjoy about it is, it puts me like in a better headspace,
Okay.
better headspace of realizing, that my well-being is important. But also I try to take my vacations. I'm more serious about if I'm off, I want to be off. I don't want to be off with my phone next to me. Hey, what's going on next week when I'm back to work? No, like I want to be away from my phone. I don't want to text anybody. And of course, my supervisor, I try to work with him because he wants people to just to understand, hey, I just want to just follow up with you in case we have to change your schedule the next week you come back, that type of thing. Because
Sure.
he has a family, he has children, so I respect that, of him,
Right.
But as
Right.
far as me, I just try to separate work from when I'm off, even right now. Like this is about us, about your great podcast and how, we can help impact other people as they're listening. Like it's not about, what I'm gonna do tomorrow. That happens when my alarm goes off in the morning, to be honest.
Sure.
But honestly, bro, like as well, I try to find other guys that are like minded like me, man, and I was just talking to a friend or two friends today, man, and it's just so interesting how, God just puts people in your life and you just wonder, what season you're in to know who you're in agreement with enough to stay connected with them, to fellowship
Hmm.
with them, hear them out more, show them grace more. And when I find that safe place with certain people in my circle, I realized, okay, this is the kind of person or people I need to be around because when I
Absolutely.
share something or I'm really struggling, somebody can maybe pray with me, somebody can maybe talk with me, somebody can maybe just spend some time with me. And so lately, this year, I've been finding myself hanging around a lot of brothers. I know with Black Men Run, an organization here in Colombia and around the country, actually, they get together every Sunday morning and they run. Now, I don't go every Sunday morning, but I realize, it's big that we take care of ourselves, Chris, man, because as blacks, we don't do well enough job of it, in my opinion. So finding a good community, a good group community,
Hmm.
good communities, a group of people, put it like that, that I can
Yeah.
stuff in a routine with, whether it's running, whether it's fellowshipping with somebody at church, or whether it's, you know what I mean, just somebody that people that I know I can just trust when I'm around other people that don't know how to take care of their well being as much. I'm not the best, but it makes me stable though. It keeps me stable enough because I find myself if I'm not around people that are stable, I can never take care of my mental health. I can never be in a position where, my friend said, hey, man, if you need to go get counseling, I'm not going to judge you for it, but I just want you to get some help. Versus
Sure.
being around people that want to just go off and want to snap and just want to. And I've been around these people. It's so funny that you asked me that. I've been around these people, man. And it's like, wow, like the only time you really want to lash out is you're around me. But the truth is, there are other people impacting you, but for some reason, I keep people calm. I don't know why. Some people just know how to come to me or realize, oh, you know how to handle your stress a lot. Pretty,
Absolutely. I
pretty
know
well.
all about that for
Yeah.
sure.
So for me, man, I try to run. And then when I'm home, man, I just think, how can I set my boundaries with people? I try to watch what I say, try to watch how I respond. I don't want to escalate situations. You know what I mean? You don't need to be. So I'm very high minded of how I think. I try to think before I speak. That also helps me as well, and I hope that makes sense.
Yep.
Uh, and I try to find a safe place where the Lord, just kind of just works on me enough to put people in my circle that I know I can go to, or even my mom. I can call my mom if I have to. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I just not I don't just mean to stretch the word pray, but I do pray, and I also allow myself to realize, you got to take care of yourself. Sometimes you got to cut off your phone. Sometimes you got to get off social media. Uh,
Yep.
Even though I work in news, I don't even have it on really looking at it right now. I'm not even really looking at it right now. You know what I mean? I try to read. You know what I mean? I try to think about other people's situation that are worse than mine, at times. And so I just try to be grateful, realizing when I come home, I want a house full of peace. So I'm a homebody. So I come home realizing when there's a crazy day at work, I don't have to worry about nobody yelling at me, screaming at me, telling me what to do. Just I found myself being in a safe place in my house. So everything for me starts at home, Chris. Everything me
Okay.
starts at home.
Cool. I'm with that. I love that. And absolutely. You continue to be that, Rico. Continue to be that guy that people come to try to, talk to you about things because it's always you never know why you're the reason people go to you, but at the same time it's comforting that people do rather than go off and react in a crazy type of manner and do something that could be deemed superfluous, right? So I love that. And I also love asking this advice, right? What is some advice that you would give someone that wants to do the job that you do, right? That wants to be in journalism, that wants to be a photojournalist. What is some advice you would give someone that's either an intern, postgraduate, or somebody that may be a little seasoned in their years like us? What advice would you give them that wants to start out in the journalism business?
Well, first I would, I'll ask them to think about what they want to do, because it would help know exactly what you want to do. Well, I would say exactly because things can change down the road. You may just want to do something else completely. Like you said, there are people in our business that are no longer in news. They want to do other things. That's fine. We should branch out and do other things because I think we can be more than just one thing all the time.
Right,
But ask that person, have you considered what you would like to be passionate about, or what are you passionate about enough? Because
right.
a lot of times in this line of work, bro, like there are times I have been passionate about this stuff that I'm doing with the sports, politics, news, you know what I mean, festivities, you know what I mean, that's going on, community events, acts of service. There have been times at different places where I had literally had lost my passion. And I say that genuinely because we talk about mental health
Sure.
recently, and how you treat people in the workplace. What makes people think you're gonna get that person's best work if you don't treat them the best way? They may
Absolutely. I
turn out
agree.
they may turn out careless. I mean, there are times I don't want to say careless, but I want to always go over and beyond, not realizing, okay, I could be treated a little bit better. Now, I'm not perfect, but knowing who I work under and knowing the workload that we have,
Hmm.
it matters how you treat somebody. So the workload not just can be adaptable to adjust to, but the quality of the work looks good too. So
Absolutely.
second thing I would tell them is uh, know that there will be some difficult situations you may deal with, but if what you're passionate about is enough, you may stick with it. So definitely thinking about what you want to do, and definitely thinking about what you're passionate about, and try to limit distractions if possible, as many distractions as possible. But also realize sometimes you're gonna have to stand out. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I have times I've tried to do packages, and I mean, I probably still can do them, obviously, now, but there are times when I've realized, I may not be the best at reporting, but I've also learned that sometimes you have to work on a craft too. Michael Jordan didn't just become a six-time NBA champion. He was in the gym shooting free throws earlier than anybody else in the mornings, and at some point he came out on top, you know what I mean? Or as one of the, if not the greatest basketball player in the world, like, so sometimes you have to work on making your stuff look different. I know for me, like whether it's like net packages or reporter packages, you know, what's gonna be a little different than somebody else. Somebody may have the same approach as other people that you've seen, but to other people that want to hire you, or managers or employers, I don't want to say it'll be boring to them, but it just may not be as interesting. So be okay with trying something new. Don't be afraid to try something new if you want to get into business. But also, um, for me, just try to get your foot in the door. For me, growing up, coming I realized, especially like with news, bro, like, there have been people and colleagues that I've known that have had several opportunities, they had several options. And for Rico,
Right.
like I'm beyond. I don't think I had a lot of options. People either thought I didn't look good,
Mm.
or maybe that didn't sound good, or I didn't
Right.
well enough. And so, sometimes you gotta take your whatever wherever you can get a yes. Sometimes just take it. I know for me, even in my career, what I mean, just looking at maybe where I can grow and learn, even with this job, I only had like a yes, to come to Columbia. But honestly, up until now, like I really didn't have a lot of options, Chris. Like, and so
Mm.
looking back at it, it still was a blessing because I still had a chance to cover some cool stuff. But your pathway is not gonna be like everybody else's. So
Nope.
be okay with realizing that, it's okay to start in the background. Clearly, you're talking to a background guy right now, you know what I mean? But there are other things you can do in life that will stand out that, that might make sense for somebody like you to say, hey, man, like, I want to hear about your story. Like, I'm like thinking, like, man, what story would I be able to tell? But it's still a story, though. Like, you know what I mean? So don't like try to sell yourself short thinking that, if you want to try something and you get the green light to do it, I wouldn't hesitate to not do it. I would just take my chances and go for it. You know what I mean? But definitely help
Love it.
passionate about something first, so people know what they're gonna get when they hire you. You know what I mean? Whether it's a resume that you have, or some experience of like doing something, with an internship that you had a chance to do. You know what I mean?
Sure.
All that into your favor, like right now. Like don't wait, just try to do what you can with what you know right now, and just see what doors open up for you. And it may be slow, it may not be quick like some other people like me, but I've seen, countless reasons why it's okay to take time to think about what you want to do first, because some things just take time, Chris.
Absolutely. No question. That's why, again, another reason why I do this podcast, Rico, is there's an A side and B side to this. I mentioned it to you before. Everybody's story is unique and different. Your story is just as important as the stories that you're going out there shooting. No question about it. Nobody's story is more important than the next person's, and everybody's story is worth telling, including Rico's. And A and B side of it is what we do passionate, right? We story tell, we write stories, we shoot stuff. Um, we try to be as creative as we possibly can. We try to be a voice for the voiceless, an advocate, a pillar in our communities. That's what we want to do with this journalism thing. That's the A side. But the B side of is people learning about mental health. People learning sometimes you have to deal with difficult situations. Sometimes you have to move to a bunch of different places like you did, or a few places. Sometimes you have to miss holidays. Sometimes you have to miss celebrations. Sometimes you miss quality time with your family. These are the things that people don't know because they only see the final product on TV sometimes, or they
Mm-hmm.
only see the final product in the paper. And this
Mm-hmm.
is why I want to shed a light to people that want to join this business. This is a fulfilling business and it's a wonderful business, but the money is slow. And then number two, you will miss things. And sometimes people are not comfortable doing that because they see it as the glitz and glamour sometimes, right? You be on TV, you thinking people got it made, but you really don't know the behind the scenes of what's going on until somebody tells you what's going
That's
on,
right.
or until you experience it yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why, for me, I like to tell my young boys and girls out here that not only do I substitute teach, but also covered before. I tell them, listen, try everything in this journalism business. You find out what you like to do, you find out what you don't like to do, but try everything: directing, producing, editing, writing, just being in front of the camera, right? Being on to the side of the camera, just whatever you want to do, just try it because that's what you find out. Be a jack of all trades to know everything. But I
Mm-hmm.
also tell them, Rico, before I get to the next question, be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's how I live my life. Be comfortable being uncomfortable because comfort sometimes is an ease. Uh, comfort is a disease to progress sometimes. And the reason why I say that is because when you're uncomfortable doing things, it really marks the character of you. It also shows that you can deal with difficult situations.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in any occupation or business, you're going to have difficult situations. Everything's not going to be a comfort thing. And you got to turn those uncomfortable situations into a comfortable situation. And that's what I thrive on. I
I love,
love it.
I
I
love it,
love
man.
you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable because people love to live in comfort because it's easy.
Yeah,
But as my as my dad told me before, he said comfort is a disease for progress. And when he said that, it hit me different because I was like, wow. He said, yeah, comfort is a disease for progress.
mm-hmm.
You can't grow as a person if you're always in a comfortable situation. Sometimes you got to be uncomfortable to understand that, okay, to see it from a perspective that might not be yours, to learn it from a perspective, to do something different, right? If you're always eating the same thing, how can you grow? How do you know if other foods are good? Comfort is a disease for progress.
That's right, man.
So yeah, I definitely love what you said and what you're doing down there in Colombia, bro. I really am. I respect it a lot.
And you know what? It's funny you mentioned being uncomfortable, man. Like sometimes if like I said, if we get too comfortable, man, we never want to grow. And I've been in positions where I realized I had to grow. I had to learn how to just mature. I'll just make this real quick. It was I covered a story where it was a lady and her sister was killed and her
Mm,
baby by I believe it's her boyfriend at the time, and it was earlier this year, and we I had to just talk to her, and she talked to one of our reporters, and so I was assigned to go out there with her, okay, so
mm-hmm.
and I brought this up just because it's like a small thing I thought on a while, but just in general, like talking about somebody that just lost a loved one, you know what I mean, like suffering, willing to do a camera interview in front of people that she doesn't know.
It's
And
pretty strong. Pretty strong of her to do.
yeah, man. And at the time, it was supposed to be like I guess like an exclusive, or it could have been like an exclusive for our station. And
Mm-hmm.
situation where another reporter showed up, and so the person I'm working with was like, "Hey, did you know such and such was gonna be here?" I was like, "No, I didn't." I mean, I assumed it was gonna. I didn't know nobody else was gonna be there. I thought it was just gonna be us. So instead of kind of just staying in my way of just not saying anything, the person I was working with made it a big fuss, like, well, da 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 da, like she shouldn't be here, and I don't know what she's gonna mess up my story. This is gonna be something that we could have our own station and nobody else. And I'm thinking, like, first of all, this lady is coming to us. She's offering us some water. Hey, you want anything to drink? Because it's during the summer. She's just as pleasant as she can be, man. Not knowing what she's really dealing with internally with her sister now here, like. I'm thinking, do y'all really want to argue in front of this lady? Like, if she's willing to talk to us at this point as networks, as news outlets, let's just work together and talk to her. We're,
Right.
we're not going to fight in front of her. I could have easily just not said anything, but I'm
Right.
playing with somebody's emotion without even knowing. You know what I mean? Like, this is serious. We're writing scripts on something. You're writing script on the story about a story of somebody that's um about a man that killed her daughter, and you want to get it right. And we're gonna sit here, we're gonna argue, why are you here? Why don't we just kind of just team up and see, okay, if you're willing to talk to both of us, which she was, you have what you need, she has what she need. You know what I mean? We're out of her way for the rest of the day. That's just how I
Absolutely.
stuff, man. Like I have to intervene at some point, and a lot of times when you don't do, I won't say that in particular, but you stay stuck in your ways, you never
Mhm.
can mature enough to help somebody else that may need to mature just as much as you do. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
that up, man, because I don't want to be comfortable all the time. I'm okay with doing this. You know what I mean? I'm okay with speaking with people. I'm okay with being a part of a strategic planning meeting like I had in my station a few weeks ago. And I was the spokesman of what our goals were for the station, as long as I'm there, and people don't really hear from Ricco, because Ricco just does all the shots and the B roll and the interviews, but I never really do like the packages. And people will send me a text message. Hey man, you did an awesome job speaking. Like we don't really hear you speak like that. So I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm gonna continue to work on that. So
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that you did that. That's amazing, bro. Please keep shining like a diamond out there, no doubt.
yeah.
Um, we are at the portion of the podcast now that we're going to do the interactive game, which is this or that. So what that means is I'm going to throw some things at you, Rico, and you get to choose this or that. Are you with me?
I am with you, bro.
Okay, here we go. Which chicken place are you going to go to? Popeyes or KFC?
Oh, KFC, man.
Okay, okay, got you. I like that. I would have chose Popeyes, but I'm definitely gonna ride with you on KFC because they got some good bacon mac and cheese. They got some goods.
Oh, the sweet biscuits. I can't forget about those. I think they got the
Yeah,
sweet.
absolutely.
Yeah, but
That's Popeyes. That's Popeyes for sure. I'm with you on that. But listen, my favorite is Church's. I know Church's chicken is my thing, so I love me some Church's chicken for sure.
okay.
Okay, here we go. Favorite like wing flavor? Is it barbecue or lemon pepper?
Lemon pepper. Gotta be lemon pepper, bro. Cause something about that. I don't want to say it's like a sour taste, but it's like it's like a taste that kind of just that gets to your taste bud, like it's it just hits the spot. You know what I mean? It's a different flavor from like just regular. What was the other flavor?
Barbecue.
Okay, barbecue. So I've always eaten barbecue, so I know how barbecue is gonna taste. But lemon pepper, if I haven't had it in a while, it's just like a different taste for me. So just like I said, like hits a spot, and it's
Okay.
yeah, it just stands out to me. So gotta have me some lemon pepper. Gotta man, in fact, you're gonna have me go to probably Buffalo Wild Wings this week. Now all of a sudden, I'm thinking about lemon pepper wings. So thank you very
Okay, now I'm with you, baby. I'm with you. Okay. Do you
much.
like your wings wet or dry?
You know what, bro? It really depends. I rather kind of have mine kind of dry because at least I can determine how much ranch I want to put on it. But when it's wet, sometimes if I don't finish all of them and if I have to warm them up, they may not be as like I don't know, may not be as it might be kind of soggy, but not real soggy. It's just they may be a lot softer than I want them to be. You know what I mean? So I prefer to dry because I don't have to just use ranch. Heck, I could probably use hot sauce or barbecues. I have a chance to kind of just put in other flavors on my chicken. So, but I rather have the dry because it's not as messy, especially if I gotta work and eat real quick. Don't have to use a whole lot of napkins. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
I feel you on that. Okay. Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
I prefer boneless. And I say that because, I want to make sure I got all the meat, you know. But hey, listen, like when it's like, on the bone, sometimes, like I know, like for me growing up, like, the chicken is not really clean unless you got all the meat off of it. But for me, man, it's like if something's really good, I just want the whole thing, just get out the way, the whole all the flavor and just the
Okay.
texture, chicken. But I know it sounds silly, but it's just when you got it on a bone, sometimes I might question, did I get all of it? Like, yeah,
Okay.
no, then I got
I'm with you on that.
you know,
I'm totally with you on that. Now,
I
do
rather
you eat your I'm sorry, do you eat your boneless wings with a fork?
yes. Usually I
Okay.
do. If it's got sauce on it, yeah. If it's dry, I eat it with my hand, honestly, bro. Mm.
I feel you with that. Okay. All right. So here, the next four have to do with music concerts you rather attend. Okay. So here we go.
Okay.
Music concert would you rather go to? Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
I had to choose. Uh To be honest with you, probably if I had to choose between the two, probably Drake because I'm more familiar with his music. Kendrick, he's been out for a while, but I remember when Drake was started on the show called Degrassi, when he was real young.
Yeah.
I mean, now I didn't keep up with the show, but I noticed like on Saturday mornings, he would be on my network, local network like CBS or I think it was NBC, one of the two, or maybe like Disney Channel. But I noticed when Drake started, he was very young, so I was familiar with like how he went from like, acting on TV to music. And I'm familiar with Kendrick Lamar but I'm just, I'm more intrigued. Or I wouldn't say intrigued, but I'm more familiar with Drake, and so
Okay,
I'm familiar with like some of his music. I don't keep up with a lot of new stuff, but a lot of his old stuff I would know. So, and I probably have to choose Drake. Yeah, man.
that sounds good. That sounds good. Here we go. Which music artist would you rather choose, Lecrae or Andy Mineo?
That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's real tough. Uh, well, man, to be honest with you, bro, like Andy Minnie, he's very unique with his rap and his with his lyrics. But he's under Lecrae, so I had to say Lecrae. And not just because he's over Reach Records, but Lecrae has said that he said concerts, right?
Yep, concerts.
Okay, so I had to probably go with Lecrae, man, just because I've been to one of his concerts before, and I expect it to be the same as it was when I went the first time. Just very not just hyped up, but I just know how he's gonna be lyrically. I know how he's gonna be musically. You know what I mean? And he's also gonna probably bring other people out with him. And Andy Mineo probably would do the same, I'm sure.
Okay.
But Lecrae is just an awesome artist. So but I love Andy Mineo too. But if I had to choose, definitely probably Lecrae and maybe any mini I'll double back probably. You know,
Okay, Rico. No doubt. I know that's a tough one for you. Here we go. We got two more of the music ones.
okay.
Which artist would you rather go see? Would you rather see Fred Hammond or Marvin Sapp?
Fred Hammond or Marvin Sapp. Man, you got some good categories, bro. Oh my goodness.
Mm,
Oh well, I love I would have to choose probably Marvin Sapp, man.
okay.
He's given a great testimony of things he's been through with it in his life, and I know he lost his wife a few years ago, and he just always he's just a testament of what it means to never really give up, you know,
Mhm.
on God and His plans for you. Fred Hammond is another great one, man. I was just listening to one of his songs today, Living Word. But yeah, I guess I had to go with Marvin Sapp, man. I had to go with Marvin Sapp.
I'm with it. Okay. Now you thought that was hard. Here's this one. Last one for the music.
Okay.
Which music artist would you rather see in concert? Would you rather see Music City Maverick or would you rather see Hillsong United?
Well, see, Hillsong I'm familiar with because when I went to Emmanuel University, which is not which was Emmanuel College, I didn't get acquainted to that type of music until I went there. So I started out with Hillsong a lot. A lot of the music. Maverick City came later, much later, clearly. But knowing today the type of music people or Christian music people desire, I mean, you can't. I mean, at this point, you can't really turn down Maverick City because it's just so big. But I would say, as far as getting, I won't say get my money's worth. I don't want to say that, but if I'm gonna pay to see somebody, I probably see Maverick City just because of the generation we're looking at of young people that are desiring to be close to the Lord and just seeing the type of music that they're putting out, and that they're writing and that they're producing. It's giving people hope that there's something greater on the other side than what we're seeing right now. And it's there. I'm sure their concerts are very good, very great. I haven't been to one yet, so I would say since I haven't been to one yet, I'll probably go to Maverick City.
Yep, Maverick City is definitely good live. I hope you get a chance to see him. They came here to Minnesota, got a chance to see him. He's in the room is definitely one of my favorite songs of theirs. No question about that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Which sport would you rather play, badminton or bowling?
Bowling.
Are you
Uh,
a good bowler, Rico?
something about Batman I just never liked in middle school, bro. I could never get it off the the racket. I
Right.
would toss it up in the air, and this is like when I'm in middle school. I think it was in high school as well. Middle school, I can definitely remember because I hated playing that sport because
Okay.
I could never get it off the racket. I would toss it up, and for some reason, I could just never aim it and just hit it back up. I could never do that. With bowling, bowling is so unique, man, because I learned that it's not about how hard you bowl it down the lane. It's a technique with the risk that you have. So instead of just, okay, I'm just gonna throw the ball down there at 90 miles an hour, just because you throw it as hard as you can doesn't mean it's gonna stay out the gutter. My
True.
ball, my bowling balls have gone to the gutter a lot just by trying to do it as hard as possible. But it's funny you asked me that because months ago, I used to do it months ago. I was considering, being a part of a bowling league, and I'll still consider that at some point. But I started practicing because of one guy I met in North Carolina. This is when I was in Chattanooga. I went to Murphy, North Carolina, about an hour and 30 minutes from Chattanooga, just to get away, just to ride out. And I came across this guy, and I don't know why he came and he told me this, but he was like, you're not bowling right. And I was like, how do I bowl? I mean, it's going down the center, dude. Like,
Sure.
like
Sure.
there's a certain way you ought to spin the ball. And of course, I'm like, I can't do that. It's not possible. All it took was one guy to come my way to show me a technique that helped me so much better with bowling. And you mean to tell me the bowling balls now when I'm rolling them down the lane, Chris, I kid you not, bro. They may go in the gutter, but it's not like 100 times every time I'm there. Now it's like half amount of that. Just because of one technique, bro. You know what I mean? So it's about spinning the ball as you're throwing it down there. So it goes back to the center and then it comes back and knocks down all the pins. Not just trying to just get it as straight as possible down the lane. You got to spin it towards, well, for me, I'm right-handed. I got to spin it towards the right, then it comes back to the left, and then it knocks down all the pins, like in like a curve. So
Right.
I really enjoy bowling, man. So yeah, let's go with bowling.
Okay. Now, do you like desserts?
Oh man, I'm a sweets dude, man. I'm trying to do better with
Okay.
that. I wish.
Okay, so we're gonna name four categories of sweets. You have to choose one of these that you'll never eat again. Okay,
Okay.
here we go. First one is cake. The next one is cookies. The next one is candy. The last one is ice cream. Which one are you getting rid of that you'll never eat again?
Cooks, cake, ice cream, candy. Right?
Yep, yep.
Let's see. Cookies, cake, ice cream, candies. At this point, man, candy's not even good for me. I mean, I know I love it, but I'll
Mm.
again, especially when you got like um uh they call them Jolly Ollies, I believe, or Mike, which I love Mike and Ike, but some stuff, man, just gets stuck in your teeth. It did not really, and then you gotta floss it out and everything. But at least with cakes, I could probably choose like a pound cake or maybe some soft
I
cookies.
like red velvet. Red velvet cake's pretty good.
Red velvet, that's another one. Yeah, I'm not giving that. Well, right now I'm not giving it up. But red velvet, that's good. And then I gotta have some ice cream, bro. I love shakes, bro. So yeah, let's give up the candy, bro.
Okay. Do you like potato chips?
Oh man, I just had some today. Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. It's the same format. You have to give up one of these brands you'll never eat again. So I'm
Mm,
gonna throw four brands at you. So here we go.
all right.
First brand is Pringles. The next brand is Doritos. The next brand is Lay's. The last brand is Ruffles. Which one are you getting rid of that you'll never eat again?
We got Pringles, we got Lay's, got Doritos, and
Hmm.
Ruffles.
Ruffles.
Well, we'll just get rid of the Ruffles. I guess. I mean, it's not really rough for me.
Oh boy. Oh man. Come on now. We've been vibing all episode. You gonna give up the Ruffles?
I'm gonna Ruffles, man. I gotta give it. It just they're so I won't say they call it they're plain, but they just are. I mean, no, well I take that back. Cheddar cheese is really good. I love cheddar cheese, so I forgot about that. But with the Doritos, man, I grew up, my mom packing Doritos in my my little snack bag, you know, um, And then with the Lay's, can't go wrong with that. With some ham sandwiches, turkey sandwich, and then but yeah, it's like so the Ruffles just I don't know. They seem kind of
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. What word would you describe? Like, I won't say out of date, but they're not just they don't really stand out to me.
Listen, sour cream and cheddar for me is the greatest chip ever made, and that's what Ruffles made. That's for me. I get those chips, man. I make that turkey sandwich with that cheese on it. I put the chips right in the middle of the sandwich and
There we
crush those chips up, and
there
then
we
eat the sandwich.
see. I love that, man. Like, cause we be I had a friend in college and in high school. He no longer here. He was killed a few years ago. But
Mm.
when we went to school together, we were classmates. One thing he would always do, man, like when there was like a sandwich we would have for lunch, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
barbecue, chicken, or burgers or whatever, he always put the chips with the sandwich and just
Yep.
said, Rico, even with the fries, like it's all going down together anyway, man. So, but I was like, man, I didn't think about that until like later, like, man,
Absolutely. That's a tradition. That's something that I always did growing up, still do to this day. Anytime I get chips or if I don't get or fries or something like that with a burger, I always put the fries in the middle of the burger, or I'll put the chips in the middle of the sandwich and I'll just tear it up. I eat it up. Every time I get Subway, I do that. I do that all the time. So no
mm,
question about it. I love that. I want to ask you about some advice. What is some advice? We talked about advice that you would give someone, but what is some advice someone gave you that you hold on dearly to?
mm, some of my advice that someone gave me. You know what? That takes a lot of thought because sometimes like, you got to think about the people that you have come across. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? A certain time that really just stood out, and I've been around for a while. But I say for me, personally, realizing that you can learn a little bit from everybody. I think for me,
Sure.
anybody in particular, oh, well, I guess my friend in Virginia, like, I guess he's a great example. Uh, he's been through a lot, with, his kids and still is, to this day, and they're all grown. But a lot of times when we're talking, bro, is, he's like, always saying things, to me, such as, where you're like the son I never had, but he has sons, but they're not doing cool stuff like me and you are doing right now. They're just on a whole other different path and journey in life that that he can't
Sure.
has no control over. Um,
Sure.
he'll say things like, "Hey, man, like keep doing what you're doing. Like I see you posting. I see you posting all the time. I see you running. I see you doing stuff with the media. I see you doing all that kind of stuff." So,
Hmm.
um, for me, always, realizing that somebody's always watching you. Um, and I think like for me, I try to learn a little bit from everybody. If anybody in particular stands out, um, to me, there's a couple of people. I have a mentor in Virginia. He's always wondering, hey, you staying close to Christ. My friend James is always, asking me, hey, keep up the good work. I see what you're doing. Don't stop. I
Absolutely. Don't stop.
just don't stop. You know what I mean? Just try and other ways that that I could be utilized. You know what I mean? Don't sell myself short, basically. Um,
Right.
but am trying to think of some good advice that someone has given. Oh well, I'll share this. I'll share this.
Okay. Let's do it.
When I was in college, right, I was on the track team,
Hmm.
and I was not the fastest, by any means. I was pretty much the slowest, one of the slowest. And I learned, being a part of a team that you work with each other. You know what I mean? You build each other up. You lift each
Yes,
other,
you do.
encourage people. You push people to figure out where their limits are. In workouts. And there are some people I just didn't. I did not get along with. Some people I just didn't like. I'll just be honest with you. Some people I couldn't see myself really being around them enough on a regular basis. Besides, track.
Right.
But I'll never forget this, bro. I'm going back to my dorm room, and we're about to graduate. And I remember giving like a small speech. Um, at I believe it was at a banquet that we had. For awards, for most improved athlete, in their college career, those who accomplished a lot of awards, things like that. I think it was a banquet. But to fast forward, bro, I go into my dorm room and I get a card underneath my door. I pick up the card or the envelope, and I don't know what it is. I'm just opening it up. And to this day, I know deep down in my heart, as much as there's things that we want to know all the time, some things it's not meant for us to know the answer to. But what I got was a note to somebody telling me, "Hey, man, I really respect you," and I'm pretty sure it might have been somebody I just didn't really get along with closely. You know what I mean? But somebody was watching me, and they were watching me so much that they literally wrote me a card. They didn't put their name on it, and the handwriting was kind of hard to read a little.
Sure.
But I took that as you know the one of the best advices I could ever give or get was somebody writes me a letter. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it came from, but something stuck with them. Something filled them with some type of conviction to say, if I don't say this to Ricco now, I'll never say anything later or never
Okay.
later.
You remember what the letter said?
Bro, you know what, man? I do. He mentioned well, the letter talked about I really appreciate what you said. Oh, I know where it was. I'm sorry. We had a conference championship. Conference
Mm-hmm.
championship. I think it was we were in division two and SSAC conference, I believe we were in, and it was for track and field. And it was the first time I ever had been a part of a college a college conference team title. Getting like shirts and everything. Like you see people in college getting that. But that's pretty dope. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And they remember me saying something at the conference. I think it was our banquet, and it was the day before our meet. And they was like, "Yo, I really appreciate what you said in front of everybody. About not being the best and just working hard. And I mentioned earning some scholarship money for that. You know what I mean? Like, and I just showed a lot of grit on that team. I know I did. Not being the best, I wanted to outwork those who had better talent than me that did not do as much, and they had talent, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times those who are not the best may put in a lot more work than those who are seen the most, and they'll
Okay.
credit for it. So what it talked about was, appreciating me being a great teammate. Hey, I wish you the best. What you said makes sense.
I love it. I love it.
You know what I mean? And to this day, I still got it. I don't know who wrote it, but now at the point I don't care who wrote it because all I need to know is somebody's always watching you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that was the best advice I've taken because nothing really else stands out the most to me. But something about that letter was like, wow, I'm gonna hold on to that for the rest of my life because I didn't need to know somebody's name. All I need to know is they knew what I was doing, they knew what I was about, and it went so far that they needed to say something about it for me to know, hey, Ricco, you're not by yourself. Somebody's here sticking with you, with whatever you're trying to do in life, and just understand that, it's okay to speak up. Well, if you speak up and you speak out, people can hear you. People can have a heart to listen to you.
Right. Absolutely. No question about that. And
Yeah,
I love that. I really do. I love the fact that somebody took the time out to write you a letter. And like you said, you don't need to know who it is. Just know that they took the time out to do that. It's appreciative. They appreciate you. And that's amazing. I appreciate you sharing that too. That's pretty awesome, bro. We are coming up towards the end of our podcast. I want to do some rapid fire. Okay, some rapid fire. So that way, you just give me the first thought that comes into your mind based upon these questions. Are you ready?
sure, man. Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Burgers or tacos?
Burgers.
Okay. Waffles or pancakes?
I say pancakes.
Okay. Chicken or ribs?
Oh, you gotta get chicken, man.
Okay. If you had three people plus you, which makes four, that you could take on a vacation, who would you take and where would you go?
Just three? Oh
Just
man.
three.
Well, then again, that kind of all right. That kind of makes sense now. So three people. Let's see. Wow, dude. Okay, I'll probably take. Man, that's tough, bro. That you had to put that at the end for me. Oh man.
It is. It is. I know. Now listen, you don't need this. You can say anybody in the world. You don't need to say family and friends to feel left out. You can say celebrities if you want to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, man. Well, I will probably hang out. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I think Bubba Wallace is cool in NASCAR driver. You know, I
Absolutely.
got with him
Yes.
all day.
Jordan Brand. Yep.
Yeah, man. So let's go with Bubba Wallace. Let's go with oh man. Let's go with Isaac from the Orlando Magic NBA. I think
Jonathan Isaac. Yep. Jonathan Isaac.
there we
Okay.
go. Isaac. And then one more person. Let's do uh wow
This,
man.
this
Let's
is a pretty good question. It got you thinking a little bit.
yeah, man. Let's go with Denzel Washington. Let's go with Denzel.
Oh, can't go wrong with those three, brother. You can't. Okay, I like that.
I think
Favorite color?
Green.
Okay. Favorite alcoholic drink?
Uh I don't have any favorite alcoholic drink. I honestly I don't have a favorite one. Because I don't drink. So
Okay. What's
yeah.
your favorite drink of all? Outside of probably water, you would say, but what's your favorite drink?
Oh, okay, favorite drink. Okay. I like the waters, the Propel waters, or
Okay.
the
Okay.
the ice water. So it's like pea,
Sparkling water.
sparkling water. There we go. Sparkling.
Okay. Okay.
Let's go with
Got
that.
you.
Yeah,
Say less.
I love sparkling water.
Say less. Okay.
Love it.
Spades or dominoes?
I'll be honest with you, bro. I'm not good at spades, but dominoes, I can get with that because I like seeing how a whole bunch of them are set up and you just knock one down and it just goes to like a big spiral and then you see them all get knocked down in one just, I'm saying, one in like that. So yeah, let's go with dominoes, bro.
Okay. All right. Favorite card game?
Favorite card game. Uno.
Okay. I'm with you on that. Favorite board game?
Board game. Uh board game. Man. I mean, let's probably go with guess Monopoly.
Yeah, that's a board game.
Monopoly,
Okay.
best one.
Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show, bro. Favorite TV show. Man, there's been some good shows over the years. I say the Jamie Foxx show. You watch
That's
it?
a good one. That's a pretty good one. No question about that. Okay. Last one of the rapid fire. Favorite genre for you to shoot? It could
favorite,
be sports, news, entertainment, events, festivities. Which is your favorite genre to shoot?
favorite genre. Okay, man. Let's go with my favorite. More than like it's sports. You know, and the reason why I kind of waited for a second because, this year with the election, bro, it took a big turn with certain political candidates, certain supporting other candidates that they wouldn't usually endorse, and I learned the importance of like the local elections versus like just voting for president, and hearing how it's impacted people all the time, man. Like the from a young baby to somebody that's elderly trying to fight to keep their social security. I really enjoyed, you know what I mean, covering politics, but obviously I mentioned I love NASCAR, and Jeff Gordon is my favorite driver as well. So, it has to be sports, and I love football. You know what I mean? I love basketball. So yeah, sports definitely is I guess my favorite. But I like a
Love
little bit of everything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I definitely know what you mean. Ricco, this has been a pretty interesting, dope conversation, man, to be having with you, bro. I love hearing your background story of how you just got it out the mud, man, and been able to go to so many places, learn from each place that you went to, go there, be the photojournalist that you are, shoot all different kinds of things, and give great advice. Obviously, be just a pillar in your community, a disciple of the Lord. No question about it, man. I really do appreciate you hopping on my podcast and just providing that positivity. And I want you to keep doing what you're doing with a smile, baby. No doubt about it. As I always do on my podcast, the last question I ask is there anything else you would like to add about you, your job, or anything in general before we conclude?
Yeah, man. I think it's just important um to know your purpose, and you may not understand it right away. You may not realize it right away, but everybody has a story, bro. I remember not too long ago, I actually wrote a song. It's been a while now, so I can't remember the lyrics because I have it written somewhere. But I had a song called, it's My Story. But I
Mm.
also realized, like, don't be don't think that that nobody doesn't see you. There are times that I've gone out recently for the election, recently talking to voters and things like that, and I was able to. We talk about getting uncomfortable. And there was a lady and her son spoke with me. They weren't too sure about speaking, but after the interview, she was like, "Oh, you got my son to speak. He's 18 years old. He voted for the first time." uh
Oh,
like, yo, it went good. And she gave me some good feedback about how he thought, the questions went, as far as me asking them both about who they voted for, why they voted, and all that kind of stuff. Well, all I have to say is that led to an opportunity, understanding my character of how I approach them, and knowing how they could, give their perspectives about, the importance of voting, and answering questions that they were comfortable with, and leaving things at just, okay, we'll just leave it at that type of deal. Her name is Leah, and that led to an opportunity of her mentioning to me, like, you know what, like, people behind the scenes don't really get a lot of recognition, or not by getting a lot of recognition, but people behind the scenes don't really get a chance to really share their backstory of, of what helped them get through high school, college, maybe a master's degree, and how they're able to, focus on their job, just like we were talking about.
sure. Absolutely.
It led to me actually being a part of their staff meeting tomorrow morning. So they're wanting to trying to get me involved in the school system, figure out how I can help, students who are currently enrolled in college. How can I help them, stay on that pathway of success with anything I've learned that I could pass along.
Awesome.
So it's kind of fitting that we had this podcast the night before I do that, just to see, what type of opportunity that's going to lead for me to do like more motivational speaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just try not to sell yourself short. You know what I mean? We all got to live. We all got to learn. But I'm learning that, that I wasn't a mistake. As I'm put on this earth for a reason. Everybody is, and when you like me, you realize you're not a mistake. You just look forward to what God has for you, and not to make that sound like a selfish thing, but I look forward to realizing, he doesn't just want to utilize me in just one thing. He wants to utilize me in probably other platforms as well. And he may just want to have to he just wanted to have had me start out with this podcast that you brought me on, just to show, hey, whatever you're posting, whatever you're doing in life, whatever you're, sharing with the people that you're happy about sharing, just know, like, that happiness, that joy might be passed along to somebody else, just so they
Hmm.
get their day started right, or just so they can continue to just to find some type of motivation to wonder, what's next for them, what's gonna be the best thing to inspire them to write that book, or to be that anchor, or to be that motivational speaker, or to be that CEO. We need more CEOs, we need more doctors and more lawyers. You just never know what pathway that the Lord is gonna set you on, and just put your trust in him. I'm learning that every single day in my life, Chris. And I know my story's not over. He's not done writing my story, whether it was running, whether it's with running, whether with a job that I have, a career I have, friendships that I've yet to meet, or people that I meet. Like last week, man, like met some guys, a couple guys at the last race I ran in Lexington, South Carolina. The guy was like, "Yo, man, like nice to meet you." His name is Carlos, and we just started talking. He's like, "Yo, man, this is what I look for." So what if it was meant for me to compete in that half marathon, just to break bread with somebody new? That just
Absolutely.
you want to have the best relationships possible, so you can bear as much good fruit down the road. And that's just my goal at this point. I want to bear good fruit. It's the only life I get. It's the only life you get. You know what I mean? As far as on
Mhm.
the earth. So why not make the best of it, and don't sit in disappointment so much that I can't, you know, just I can't be disappointed in a opportunity like this, man. People are gonna listen to my story along with the other ones, and now it's like an honor. Like, wow, like, something stood out about me as well as other people, that it's gonna impact somebody. And so I just want to keep that up. I want to keep that going. I just want to find what makes sense for me to live out. I want people to know about it. But more than anything, man, I just want to be humble and just let the Lord do a work in me, on me, through me, around me, so I can just be reminded that, that everything I do goes to Him. Everything I do goes to Him. So it allows me to be less frustrated, less disappointed, and more
Hmm.
hopeful that this is just the beginning for me and you. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. I just want to just do the best I can to lead by example. I think that's probably the best way I can probably sum it up.
All right. That sounds good. Well said, Rico. I want you to enjoy your rest of your Thursday night. Thank you for hopping on my podcast. Enjoy your weekend. And you and myself will definitely be in touch, my man.
Absolutely. And anytime you want to bring me on for another segment, I'm open to it, bro. Just know. And everybody just continue to listen to what Chris has to offer. I'm sure the next guy I have some good guys you can talk to, man. Like, since we got this going, I'm gonna send them your way. You think my story is great, man? You gotta. I'm gonna send people your way. You trust me, man. You're gonna have your platform is gonna grow, and I pray that God blesses it. And I'm not just saying that. I pray He blesses this platform, because it's gonna get people uncomfortable, and they're gonna love getting uncomfortable with your podcast.
I love it. I appreciate it, my man. You take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And like I said, we'll definitely be in touch.
Thank you,
Hey.
man. God bless, bro.